Okay, so this is probably, I think, the northern end of the property, at least in terms of where we'll be developing guest accommodation. This is the outside space on the garden suite at the far end. The plan is to have an inside bathroom adjoining this section of wall that you can see, and then make this a living area as well for private use by the guys in the second bedroom in the garden suite. Obviously we can landscape this area. The plan is to put a retaining wall down to the left there, so we create a nice terrace space, which is used by both rooms out here. We come along. Roger. So here we go. There's obviously some termite issues which we need to address, but the plan as we have it at the moment is to remove this wall. You can see this runs down the centre of the building, and then put a dividing wall in here, so in front of me. So we create two rooms of roughly equal size. The second one is more L-shaped. But you can see this is the front half. This would be the front half you're looking at now of the first bedroom, and this would be the back half where the bed and so on would be, and then sofas looking out over the terrace over here. Currently in here we have two very small bathrooms. One here, and another one just on the other side. There we go. The plan is to knock those two together and then pull the wall that you're looking at here down towards me now, and create one nice big bathroom, which then leaves an L shape for bedroom 2, starting there, coming down, and then back this way. And then its bathroom would come out, an extension on the building, as I said, inside-outside bathroom, which leaves out into the outside space out here, which a nice outside shower could be very cool. So if we come back out now, we can look up at the main building. Beautiful day today again. Okay, so this first half of the building has had some work done. David did work in 2014 on the floors. You can see the roof has been redone, repainted in the guttering. But the plan as per the drawings that you have seen is to extend the far end of the building here. So in this space you're looking at now, to create the kitchen and pantry area, which is obviously pretty close and easily accessible for the dining room and bar and guest eating areas, which will be as we come up here. I'm not sure if this door is open. Okay. Quick look at the view. Looking good. Water's about 3/4 at the moment. Has been a lot fuller. It's been pretty dry the last few weeks. So this would be the reception and dining area. As I say, the floor was redone in 2014. We can look at that. This floor it's not too bad, but not exactly what we want. So we've budgeted to change that. And the existing kitchen area here, which the plan currently is to turn this into a bar sitting area, obviously with the bar having access out here so people can be outside enjoying the view, where we create the new terrace space and eating out there, serving drinks and so on, with access of course to the kitchen, which will be a little further on at the end of the building. Okay, this is the guest, or day guest room I suppose, where people can keep stuff. It's a bit of a storage space, but also with the, this looks, I don't know why that's locked, but this is the guest bathroom in there, which we need to seal the roof, and then have ventilation outside. At the moment it's all a little bit too open. proposal is for this space to be used as a library, straight living room, small living room, with a nice big sofa and bookshelves along this back wall here, so everyone's sitting, looking out on the view. There we go. And the door here will be sealed up. Okay, this is the first of the 4 bedrooms in the main house. The first 3 are all the same size, nice double bedrooms. And the access for these will be along the back. So we see here the non-existent corridor, but we'll be extending the building back with it's an open corridor. So we'll put a roof in about 3/4 of the way up this wall. I don't know if that's going to work. Okay, so coming along here, if that makes sense. With just a low wall on the left hand side, so it feels like an open corridor, and then some kind of protection if it's howling wind and rain that we can drop down on this right hand side, but we think that'll work well. And then these windows, because the corridor will be low enough, come down to this level here, we remove these steps here. And you'll be low enough if we raise these windows slightly so that people walking along the corridor won't be able to see into other guest rooms, but guest rooms will have some nice light coming in. And then the corridor is obviously below the level of the bedroom, so we'll have steps, sunken steps coming up into the bedroom, which could create quite a cool feature. With beds here. Now, as it is, these 3 rooms at the moment all have their own bathrooms, which are not huge, but having seen quite a few bathrooms at various hotels and spoken to various designers, we think it's perfectly feasible to have bathrooms spacious enough in this area, with this little section here used for storage. Door to the bathrooms would be moved from its current position there, just slightly further to the left, and then with the loo on the right hand side. And then you imagine having your big rain shower looking out there. Okay, so this is the second one, same dimensions, exactly the same in terms of room space and bathroom space. We're debating at the moment, there's a possibility we could just have a screen of some sort on the main section of the bathroom, the shower section, which might make it feel a bit more spacious. I've seen various places do that, the Candy House. Have used bathrooms like that, just screens blocking off the shower, which I think is okay and an option we can explore. Third bedroom, same again. It looks a little smaller, this one, because it's much more closed in, but it is the same size. Okay, and then the master suite at the end, honeymoon suite, with the plan similarly to have the bed positioned as per the other 3 rooms. We're probably going to go, the views are better if the bed faces this way, looking out that way towards the lake. If you're square on, you don't get the angle outside, out the window, out the doors. So here's a little bit more panoramic. And then a massive space for a big bath or twin baths here, looking out across through there. When that bougainvillea is in full flower, it looks stunning, almost like a picture. And then the suite will have its own private garden space here, which in the fullness of time we could of course put in a little plunge pool, infinity pool in that far right hand corner would be pretty beautiful. Okay, I'll just quickly come up here. There are no immediate plans to develop this area. I mean, it's just a very beautiful, kind of rugged, rocky part of the property. But in the fullness of time, we could look at developing a kind of tree house or something on stilts. Room at the far end here, built into the rock, which when lifted slightly would put you almost up level with the canopy of the trees. And if it was even on 2 levels, then you'd get a total 360 of the area, apart from being slightly blocked off on this side, but generally a pretty amazing place to be, and far enough away again to make it from the main building to make it a unique selling point for that room. Okay, just come back. Okay, back in the little honeymoon suite garden, its own private spiral staircase, which is difficult to navigate with one hand. Really cool old steps down to the pool in its current state. To make these a little easier, you can imagine a very nice sitting area here, just enough room for some chairs up against the rocks. And then when we fill in that final quarter and create the infinity pool and clear the vegetation a little bit, thin it slightly behind the pool so we get a view down to the lake, which you can't see fantastically well at the moment, but we'll be able to. And obviously looking back up at the house there. Now if we come through here, this is where we're planning to build the Ambalama pool house kind of setup. Fairly messy at the moment, but almost naturally kind of cleared through here. And again, you've got the rocks up there, which will create nice kind of framing for the whole thing as we clear all this. Clear out all here. Great amount of space for a 7th bedroom. And just the kind of natural vegetation around here and the rocks and stuff will make this a really cool area, we think. So if you look across here, you can just give a quick idea of, I mean, the light isn't great, is it actually? But we'll do a good deal of thinning out of, I mean, there's quite a few dead trees around here. Like this guy. This chap. Which can be removed. Then the plan is to landscape this area so you have a narrow strip. Now we'll leave a few of the best trees in, but then landscape it so it's a really nicely kept lawn which just runs down to the lake. Down this kind of channel. And that'll give you a great view down as well as back up to the main building. So on the middle level here, just roughly halfway in between the house and the lake. No immediate plans to do anything with this other than landscape it. And as I mentioned, thin out some of the trees and remove the dead trees. Get it all looking very pretty. Some nice lighting. Pump house and the well. Just need a good deal of tidying up. This previous boathouse stroke cowshed. And there, just as I mentioned before, the water is quite a bit lower than it was even just a month ago. That probably looks, I mean, maybe half, 2/3 full. You can see, I mean, those two islands over there, they're just little specks when the water's fully full. Tiny little islands above the surface. Lovely for little private dinners you can boat people out to. The water should come in the rainy season and well through certainly November, December time into January and February as well, right up to the gates here pretty much. We're just down to the end of this stone path anyway. So when we clear this a little bit, not too much, you'll have the view back up to the house. And then a nice little avenue of trees here. I should say, obviously, the plan is to, I mean, this cowshed stroke boathouse, develop a little semi-permanent structure. There are regulations around what we can build so close to the water, but if it's a semi-permanent structure, we're okay to build a kind of day place with day beds and make it very chilled out. Nice place for drinks in the evening. Lots of cushions. Have a small bar down here. That'd be very cool. So actually, the plan would be to develop this slightly as a road and access point for the drivers. That's a big part of travelling tour groups, and to accommodate them. So, and then they can have their vans and vehicles parked here well away from wherever other guests are staying for their 2 or 3 days. And then we'll landscape up here. This is the boundary of the property. See this fence, wooden fence, to create some flat space to build the managers and staff accommodation. A little hard to visualise at the moment, but once we clear this all and do some excavations, we'll have a better picture of it. Okay, to give some idea of the landscape behind the house, you don't see a great deal of it, because you're so concentrating on the view of the lake, but up on the wall here, the back wall, cemetery down here, so highly unlikely to be developed on, which is good. And this is the direction if you head out over here towards Victoria Golf Club. Can't see an awful lot. But obviously hills in the background for some stunning walks. Really a cool spot for kind of family adventure and exploration, boating on the lake and little islands, picnics. What a cool spot. Stunning walks out in the village, but close to the golf club. Everything on your doorstep really, but a real sense of authentic Sri Lankan village life. Very exciting.